No, sir, you did not read that title wrong. I'm bringing you my full overview today of my Bomber Zoo Druid. Alright, I'll start you with some example gameplay. You can see we're in Act 5, and I'm on this Players 3 difficulty. I did it on higher players counts with more, players in the game type of situation, but I feel like it didn't really work the greatest. But this is a great fun build to try kind of at the end of ladder here. You've kind of slowed down on your characters. You want to try something different, something fun, kind of confuse the people in the public games. Your friends are going to be like, what are you doing? You got a necromancer? Do you have a druid? I don't even know what's going on here. So the first thing for the example gameplay here, we're going to go with the bear. We're going to go with the oak sage. We're doing our cyclone armor. We spam up our wolves right here, dire wolves. You can get 3 of those and then 5 ravens. We do not use the other wolf because it does cold damage. When monsters die that are cold, they'll shatter. You won't have a corpse explode, and corpse explosion is what we go ahead and use on this build. You can go ahead and see it right here. And we're going to go ahead and hop out. Now, interestingly enough about this build, I don't even bother using Call to Arms. You can use battle orders on Call to Arms. It'll get you even more health, but watch. Right here, it's at 1,500. Boom, we've got 4,200 health. It's really more than enough, to be perfectly honest. Come out here, telly stomp a monster, it is instantly dead. Swap over to your other side, and then you start popping corpses. And once you pop a couple of them, the group is dead. Go ahead and pick up whatever you want. I have a little bit of room over here to pick some stuff up, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. Switch back to our teleport side here. We go a little bit faster, and same deal. Come down, a monster got killed instantly on complete accident. Literally, they dropped dead instantly. Literally instantly. That was interesting. He teleported away. That usually doesn't help. Doesn't happen, I should say. But that's what's happening this time. But even with that, you can see they beat him down super quick. They do so much damage when you telestomp somebody like that. Another good place that I would do along with this run is a Thresh Socket, because he's right here. You can get things like D-Web, you can get Griffins, you can get Wind Force, all kinds of super rare stuff right from him. Go ahead and see what this little amulet is here. Fourth Cathans. And then another one, I actually like using Corpse Explosion against Neelathak. Now you go ahead and pop the bodies before he can, and it's a little race to see who's going to melt who. I usually always come out victorious because on top of, being the one that pops the body first, I also have my armor that goes ahead and blocks the Cyclone armor, and pop. And we can go ahead and knock him down. And did he drop us a key? No, we got a tiara here we'll grab, and we'll go ahead and jump to the next thing. I'm actually going to grab these Greater Talents too. Why not? Just to see what's up. And yeah, it's that easy. An important thing to note, if you didn't guess already, this uses charges. So it might be kind of important here to go ahead and bring some stuff along to sell. That's only 16,000, but the charges right here cost 45,000 gold per run. So it does get a little expensive. That's why I left a little open spot here to carry stuff that I could go ahead and sell. Now, we will go ahead and jump into the build. We'll start off with the stats, super easy, just enough strength to where you can see it right here, that Spirit Monarch. Rest goes into Vitality. I put nothing extra into Energy or to Dexterity. Down here you can see the resistances on the teleport side are right here. And this is important to note, your resistances go way down, so if you wanted to swap, throw some charms in there to get more res, or a few other little things I'm going to point out in the build, you can go ahead and do that. But with the summons, with so much life, I don't have too much of an issue. So once I kind of got the build figured out, I don't have a problem with it. Now, once we go ahead and jump over to the skill tree here, and we've got the summons first off. The summons are what dealing all the damage for you. First of all, we've got Max Raven, we've got Max Oak Sage, we max Direwolf, and we max Summon Grizzly. Now, we did not max out the Spirit Wolf because, like I said, it does cold damage. You do not want those bodies to shatter because then you don't have any corpses to explode. Also, down here, when you look at things like the Summon Grizzly, Spirit Wolf only gives 25% to attack rating and 10% to defense. So I didn't really bother with that. Right here, the Spirit Wolf gives to attack rating and to defense. Once again, it doesn't help out the damage. So it doesn't really help out a ton for the other stuff. It does increase the damage up here on the Ravens, but I haven't really noticed an issue with that. And having this maxed out, the Oak Sage, wow, it's amazing for survivability. Shapeshifting, this is a tough one right here. Don't do nothing over there. N-U-F-F-I-N, nothing. And now down here, we do use Cyclone Armor, but you notice I actually only put 1 base point into it. When I did the little bit of math, actually when the 7% from the Twister, Tornado, or Hurricane was more than you got per level on the Cyclone armor with this many plus skills. So I went ahead and put the rest into Twister instead so I could get as much absorb damage as possible. So that's what I went ahead and did. And now the most interesting part, the big wow part, we're talking about the gear here. Now on the teleport side, and this is the weapon I have out when I go ahead and summon everything up, we've got the Heart of the Oak for the plus skills, the cast rate, res, everything that's usually on the Heart of the Oak for any caster, but the plus skills on summons are really important to get their damage and their life up. We got a Spirit over here. The same type of budget stuff you'd use on any caster you could throw over here. Spirit is obvious. Spirit Sword, things like that. Up on the top, I wanted the Magic Find from Asheko. You got life, skills, and stuff like that. Same exact type of situation here. Anything that goes good with any caster you could throw up here, or you can go ahead and throw on a Jalal's if that's what you got. Over here, we've got Amara's. I wanted the extra resistance. You could throw on a caster amulet once again over here with 2 to Druid skills and whatever you can get on it. Now, I have Enigma on the armor. Skills, all the Magic Find, life after kill, all the stuff, all that strength you can save and puts more points into vitality, giving you even more life. So, obvious choice there for Enigma. Once again, Viper Magi is a good budget option, or any of the other stuff that gives you plus to skills. Once you come over here to the gloves, this is where I was a little bit iffy. I decided to throw on faster cast rate gloves to Mage Fist in order to teleport around a little bit more smoothly. If I took these off and threw on things like Chance Guards, I ended up not getting to the breakpoint that I wanted to get to. So I went ahead and threw that on there. And for the rings, I got 2 rings that got plus to skills. On single player here, I got 1 SOJ and 1 BK. 2 of either one of those would be perfectly fine, the SOJ probably being the preferred one. And right here at the belt, we've got Arachnid's Mesh. I wanted the plus to skills, and once again, the cast rate for teleporting smoothly. It just is kind of a feel thing for me. If you want a lower cast rate, if you're not casting, if you're running around, you could throw other stuff on there, but the plus to skills is pretty important. Now, the star of the show is over here on the other side, and no, it's actually not a call to arms like usual, because like I said, I don't even have call to arms. I'm not using it. This is the Bone Hue. This is where I am getting those corpse exploding charges, and that's all I'm using this for. You've got 30 level 14 corpse explosion charges. Now, this is not a ton. If you're going to be running something like the Pits or the Chaos Sanctuary or something else, you might need to have another one of these in your inventory, or there is an armor called Corpsemorn that does have corpse explosion charges on it. They are lower, but I think it has 60 on just that one armor. So you could go that route if you wanted to, but for the run, that's why I set up the run the way that I did with Eldritch and Shank, with hitting Thresh Shocket just as summons, taking them out, and then popping down to hit Neelathak. It's perfectly fine, and that's enough charges for me to go ahead and do that. And over here, I did stick 2 Hell Runes in it. It does, Bone Hue always comes with those 2 open sockets. Now, I had this from a previous build, so I went ahead and used it. If you want to have more resistance over here, a couple of 15 all-res jewels would be good to throw in here, or there could be a ton of different things you could throw into this in order to help out your character out, whether you want to get more life, like I said, more resistance or things like that. But you're going to have 156 on the Spirit anyways, so your strength doesn't necessarily need to be down to 117, or maybe you could throw the 2 Hell Runes in it, forget about the 2 skills, and maybe throw on a shield that only has 1 to skills, and then you could save another 50 to strength that you could then throw into vitality. That's up to you. That's all your choice. Now, for the charms, the obvious ones, the Torch and Annie and Geeds, obviously, if you can get them, you throw them on your character. For the Sunder charm, you don't necessarily, especially if you're doing this run right here, you don't need one. I don't have one. This is on single player, but even if you're online, you do not necessarily need one. You have the physical damage from your stuff. You do get a little bit of the fire damage from the corpse explosion, because corpse explosion is half physical and half fire, if you did not know that. You can do some other things to get around, maybe if there's a physical immune, doing something like throwing a Reaper's Toll on your Mercenary. I ended up not going that way. If there is, occasionally Thresh Shocket is immune to physical, I just skip them that one run. No big deal. It's like 1 out of 10 or something. No big deal like that. So let's go ahead and jump to the Mercenary. Now, like I said, I didn't have a Reaper's Toll, and let me get out of the way. I actually went with Infinity. Now, Infinity's Conviction Aura helps out half of Corpse Explosion, because like I said, it is half fire. On top of that, it just, with this Man-Catcher base, it attacks super fast. It has Crushing Blow. It has reasonable damage. If you have a different base, the base damage will be higher. But on single player here, I decided to go with the faster base for this particular one, along with a lot of other stuff on Infinity that helps you out. Not to mention, it is kind of important to note that Conviction actually has an aspect to it that will allow your summons and your mercenary to hit more often, because it actually will decrease their defense slightly, I believe is what it is. So Infinity does indeed help you out. Like I said, if you want to throw something like Obedience over here, you could, but Obedience does have cold damage, possibly shattering the corpses. Reaper's Toll is a good option, but just make sure, it is really annoying when the corpses keep shattering on you. Up here we got Talrasha's Crest, and we've got Treachery, and Daro's Visage, and a Fortitude are probably better in-slot options. I decided to go with this budget stuff right here. The Mercenary has literally never died since I've been playing this, so this would be perfectly fine, but you could up your game slightly with those two options. So yeah, this is a fun build to use now that it's the end of ladder. Maybe you want to show off to your friends, show something goofy and funny. People are going to be asking you questions. Hey, bro, what are you doing with your build? Is that a Necro? Is that a Druid? You got the summons, you got the Corpse Explosion. What's going on, bro? So if you want to, go ahead and steal this from me and try this build out. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe up, and hey, consider sharing this video somewhere. Facebook, Reddit group, something like that. It helps the channel out a ton, and people might find this video fun as well. Peace out, fellas. Don't forget, keep slaying.